And welcome to Twigger Time. My name is David Twigger, and we're here for the podcast. And we're here, of course, with my cohort in crime, Randy Garza. Say hello, Randy.
Hello, Randy.
Well done.
Thank you.
So we're so excited to have everybody back at Twigger Time podcast. It's been a little while since we've been recording, actually.
I know.
Because you're like the world traveler now.
Oh.
You went to Sonoma and had some wine. Shocker.
It was for Wine Country to the Rescue for the Sonoma County Fire Department's fundraiser
wonderful
thing. It was absolutely spectacular.
And shocker, everybody, Randy bought about 1,100 different items. What did you guys end up with? A lot? Really?
A lot, yeah. We were doing it for the sole reason of driving the price up. And then when we went to check out, the little girl behind the computer starts laughing. She says, "You guys won a whole bunch of stuff."
I'm sure John
I call it win. John says, "You do realize we didn't win anything."
It's not winning when you have pay. But I'm excited about one item in particular because I'll probably use it more than you. Right?
My Fabergé egg.
Your Fabergé egg. But in reality, it is
a big green egg.
The big green egg, the grill.
Yeah, and it doesn't fit in our overhead bin flying back.
So it's still in California.
It's still in California.
That's okay though.
Yeah.
But they're awesome. Like I love like the green eggs.
I've never used one.
So
the only green eggs I know about relate to Dr. Seuss.
True. But they are wonderful actually. So I'm excited for that. What other items did you kind of get?
We won an overnight stay in Bodega Bay. The birds.
Does anybody get that? Do you have to explain that?
You might. I mean, I know what it is. I know you know.
The birds.
Sometimes, or what's that song that you always sing? Why do birds suddenly?
So that's our song. So whenever I hear that, I think of Randy. Karen Carpenter and the Birds.
Yes, or Tippi Hedren.
Tippi. You think you're Tippi Hedren?
No.
You're going to be when you go to Bodega.
Oh, you know I'm going to get the wig and everything.
Oh, my gosh. Well, we never did the wigs. We should have done the wigs
in Puerto Rico. Did anybody on...
We had the helmets, though.
Did you tell anybody on the podcast about what we were going to do in Puerto Rico?
We were... So, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do in Puerto Rico is we went... I've always wanted... It's a bucket list to ride a horse on the beach.
Yep.
And so we got to do that.
It's lovely.
And Randy had the wonderful idea of all four of us getting... what's his name? Fabio Wiggs.
Blonde Fabio Wiggs.
So we could just ride in the wind blowing through our wigs on the beach and stuff like that. But it's actually a good thing because we had to wear helmets.
They made us wear helmets.
Right. Anyway, so we're here having our lovely glass of champagne. But now I'm super excited to say that we are actually the sparkling wine today is sponsored by Mercury Wines. Our friends over at Mercury Wines. We're so excited to have them here. And you can actually talk a little bit about Mercury Wines.
I'd be delighted. So Mercury Wine is a boutique winemaker in Geyserville, California, in the Sonoma Valley there. And it's just a little bit north of Healdsburg. It's definitely worth trying. It's just
a gorgeous area, and the wines are wonderful.
And everybody, what I like about Sonoma is just very oriented towards the makers. You know, you can pop into a winery and you'll see somebody in work boots and stuff, and typically that's the winemaker,
right? And
it's kind of just cool to sit and visit with them, and they're
so much.
They're always gracious and appreciative of the business, and Brad is the winemaker and owner of Mercury, and he specializes in Bordeaux style blends. So if that's your niche,
and we'll have Mercury Wine's link on the podcast and on the YouTube channel because we do video these, and so you can see Brad.
Hello.
Drinking and having fun here. So we'll definitely we thank Brad and thank Mercury Wines because it's wonderful to have this as well.
It is.
And it's great. So we're very excited today to have someone that I've known for, I want to say like 5 years now. Sarah is a part of the MDA group here in Arizona, but so much more than that. And she's going to discuss that because she really her role has changed and grown in so many different years. And I had the pleasure of working, just doing decor and stuff for their Passport to a Cure gala. That's every December that we will talk about. And now, actually, I'm thrilled to be on the executive committee board for MDA here locally and helping them do the amazing things that they do. And I've recruited Randy, of course.
It was an ambush. An ambush that you can't... I'm going to use a terrible term. You can't rape the willing. But I went...
So we're just going to go ahead and label this one like PG-13. So this is our PG-13.
No, I'm very excited to be a part of it. And she's a delightful person. You'll see in just a moment. But she is absolutely wonderful. The cause is definitely worthwhile.
And it's so much more than just what people think.
Yes.
So again, Sarah, we're so happy to be here. And everybody wants to go ahead and put their hands together for Sarah Levin. Welcome, Sarah.
Yeah, thanks. So happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so glad. And you're going to hear a lot of like the sound effects because I love my
He abuses that privilege.
We've got crickets when we don't like the answer.
Oh.
Anytime Randy speaks, he
Golf
gets
clap.
crickets.
Golf clap.
Fun. What's the sad one? Oh, that one too. You won't get that one. Sarah won't get that one. She's too good at
But
that.
I probably will.
We're so excited, everybody. And so today we have Sarah Levin. I'm going to read like the part of the little bio because it's wonderful to talk about the amazing work that you do. So Sarah Levin is the National Vice President for the Muscular Dystrophy Association with a passion for serving the community. With 19 years of experience in the industry, she has demonstrated a strong track record of fund development and leadership. Sarah completed her undergraduate studies at the University of Arizona and then followed postgrad education at Arizona State. Woohoo! Where she studied nonprofit management. I didn't know that. That makes sense. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sarah has a deep passion for the community and gives back through involvement in many different organizations with reputation for being a collaborative and results-driven professional.
Ooh,
Sarah
fancy.
I know. Somebody professional wrote this. You can tell. Sarah continues to make a significant impact in the nonprofit landscape. She remains dedicated to advancing the mission of the MDA and empowering others to achieve excellence. She's an Arizona native, which is awesome, that currently resides in Scottsdale with her husband, 2 children, and 2 doodles.
The doodles.
And you got the second doodle at an MDA
Oh my
event.
god.
Oh my gosh.
That's a cute story.
Oh,
You got, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was at the event. Yeah.
it
That's
was.
awesome.
Yeah. Oh, so you saw it all.
I wasn't
at
at the event. I was at the
meeting when you were
the
talking
meeting.
about it.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
And this is your first podcast.
It's my first.
Oh, it's
yeah.
You should do
yeah.
more
We're
of
so
them.
happy to have you.
Yes.
So excited to be here.
Yes. So at
Yeah.
Twigger Time, we focus on special events, but we also focus on everything that kind of like around special events. So we say special events and beyond.
And beyond.
Yeah.
Is our word. But we're here, obviously, so we'll touch on all the brilliant work that you do, and we'll focus kind of like on the nonprofit area, which is amazing. So I think what we should jump into and really have you talk about, because it still blows my mind as far as like what people think of when they think of MDA. They don't think of the broad scope that
Sure.
MDA is. So if
Right.
you want to touch on that
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize the scope and depth of what we do. We're an organization that was founded by a family that had muscle disease. And at that time, over 60 years ago, we didn't even know what really muscle tissue was comprised of. And so that was some of our first initial goals, is to just figure out, like, why are these diseases happening? Some we have answers to, and some we still don't, and how we can treat them. And we've made so much progress over the years. And we, as an organization, have really focused on not only finding the answers to all of these genetic links and all the research, but also taking care of those individuals that have muscle disease. And so there are over 40 diseases that fall under our umbrella. It's actually much more than that. The common denominator with all of them is that they're muscle wasting diseases. So SMA, spinal muscular atrophy, ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and the list goes on and on. And while these diseases aren't as prevalent as cancer, once you start talking to people, everyone knows someone that's been affected. And these diseases are ones that need a cure. They're devastating. There used to be a diagnosis not that long ago of go home, spend time with your family, get your belongings in order. But now we have treatments. And so that's a really exciting landscape that we have. A lot of these diseases are genetic, and we've found genetic treatments for a couple of our diseases. And once you develop one, the next is on the horizon. And so with FDA approvals happening left and right for different types of treatments, and we're just at a really a time where we're seeing a lot of advancement, and so being with MDA for 18 years, I never really saw the pharma world knocking on our door. And now we're having conversations with pharma left and right because there's so many advancements that are happening in treatments and therapies and all of the things. So it's amazing to see that. But in addition to that, in the local communities, we're really, we have here within the Phoenix area, we have an amazing clinical setting where individuals can receive initial diagnosis, follow-up treatment. We work very closely with Barrows Neurological Institute, and we have an ALS clinic there, a general clinic. Also, Phoenix Children's Hospital houses our pediatric clinic. We have clinics down in Tucson. Those clinics are vital for the community. Our summer camp program that we do for kids with muscle disease is a life-changing program that they can get involved in. And really the list goes on and on. We're big in DC with advocacy.
It's an amazing organization that, like you said, like spans so much. And thank you for sharing all that with us. Because again, I don't think people know that.
Right.
A lot of people think right off the bat, if you're old school MDA, the first thing that comes to mind is
Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
Jerry Lewis telethon.
Yeah.
And the telethon obviously was about raising money, and because when you raise money, you can actually get the results that we've been seeing with all the clinical trials and stuff like that, which is great because what we touch on here obviously is all the different events and the fundraising that MDA does.
Yeah.
Not just the large one that that we're involved in, but all the different events that you guys do. So like we touch on those whole things of it. Your perspective on that is going to be very powerful and impactful. So we love that.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing all that.
Got it.
Yes.
It's an amazing thing. So we'll jump right into the first question that everybody hears when they come on the podcast, and define special events. So when someone says special events, what comes to mind?
Events are for people. And so I always think, an event is a celebration of some type, bringing together people to celebrate, to party, to have a good time. But the people part of the events is what's so important.
Perfect. I love that. And that's what you do. So here, at Twigger Time, we always say every event is special, whether it is a large nonprofit, fundraiser, or just a game night or friends coming over, because you don't know what's going to be talked about. You don't know how that's going to affect somebody. It could be somebody who just really needs to be with people. Or it could be somebody who just went to a committee meeting for a nonprofit. Like, I was really moved by this. And now you're sitting with your friends and they may know somebody who's been affected. And it just kind of moves down the road.
Right.
And that's what events do. And so we love every single part of that.
Absolutely.
People connector. Yeah. And it's so important now. I think, we were away from each other for far too long. And just people want to be around people. People want to have a good time. People want to celebrate each other. And
discussions are the most important thing, I think, in the world.
We're social beings.
We are.
Yeah.
We need each other.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And that rolls right into, what's your favorite thing or feeling or aspect of special events?
Okay, so it goes back to the people again for me.
Yeah.
I love the collaboration. I love to see people having a good time, meeting new people, seeing people from the past, connecting people, sparking passion in people through, different types of nonprofit events. Yes. That's what I love. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, especially with you, with what you're involved in, I would imagine that the gathering of people are all very passionate people.
They are.
People with a common goal and
passion.
Big boys don't cry.
Big boys don't cry. Again, if you know 80s music,
Barbie.
you know that one.
Yeah. Saw Barbie last night. Yeah.
I saw
you?
it this weekend, actually.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I want that
shirt.
The sweatshirt at the end.
Fantastic.
I'm Ken enough.
I'm Ken enough. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Are you?
Well, you're gonna have to beat my husband in line because he's already looking for it on the web. So
such a powerful movie. It was so good.
It was good. It was fantastic.
So we talk about the favorite things, which I agree about that piece of it. And then I always love hearing everybody's answer to this question, because I always have some people tiptoe around it and some don't. And may I add that Vermilion Events does just decor for the Passport to Gala, because your answer for what's your least favorite thing about events. She's like, the stress of execution. And I'm like, well, hire us to do everything else and you won't have any stress. But there are so many different aspects.
There's so many aspects.
Yes. And when a nonprofit event, especially, it's not just about making a,
It's not just about the event.
It's not just about making it a wonderful event, but our end goal is to raise money, right? And so there's so much that goes into a gala or a golf tournament or whatever that special event is you're doing to raise funds. You not only have to throw an amazing party, and that's where you step in, but you have to bring together the right people that are going to get behind your mission and want to support it. And that's our job as well, is to inspire them while they're there. A lot of people come to our events and that's their first introduction to our organization. So while they're there, how do we inspire them, teach them about our mission, so that they do want to give?
It's a balancing act for sure, because it is like you have to throw an event that is supposed to be celebrating all the work that's been done,
right?
But you have to have those moments that aren't celebratory. It's like you have to have moments.
There's still more work to be done.
The heartstrings moment, and talk about the serious pieces,
right?
And it is a balance of can you sell out this ballroom? Yes. But if you don't sell out the ballroom, and you can say this with like the people who can, your end goal is raising money.
Right.
We all have to remember that. And that's a piece of it. And we talk about that in one of the questions you did, like an excellent answer on that. And so it's just a balancing act. And even though for somebody like who's done events for so long, like when I first started getting to like nonprofits, the side of it was like the event side. So like, I was like, find a location, it's logistics, it's set up, it's catering, it's the way it looks, and that's great. And then like, I would look on that part of it, but then you have to sit there and like look at the rest of it. And I'm like, why are they still worried? Like, well, because they're worried. Like, it's a great event. If you don't raise the money, or you don't have enough people who like step up and say, I want to be involved, all those different like wonderful things that can happen, it's not necessarily like 100% of success on the event. Right. And it just kind of comes off. The balancing act is incredible. And I love the fact that you do it with like a smile the whole night. I'm sure every once in a while you like go into the room and like close the door.
Oh, you've seen that part too.
I have seen that part too. It's funny because like, it's like you hear the laugh that Sarah has, but then like you can hear a conversation of like, well, this happened with like the hotel, and like, she didn't laugh when she said that. I'm like, I'm going to go check on the decor. I'll be back in a minute. Because there's like moments that just,
that there are. But I think if you surround yourself with the right people, and that's what it's really all about. And I mean, we've been working together, David, since this event started and since its inception. And it's been such a great partnership. But those are the areas where I know that I need to reach out and seek help, because I got to focus on the dollars. And so I need other people in the community that can help me focus on the decor, and making an amazing party. And
he's award-winning.
Award-winning. Yeah.
Randy gets $20 when he says that.
I inserted some places inappropriately.
I think we need the applause button right now. Award-winning.
That's more golf clap.
Oh, there you go. Golf clap. There we go.
That's awesome. No, it is. It is about the people, like, and I do the same thing. Yeah. So when people see, when we have large events and stuff like that, I surround myself by people that I know are stronger in areas that even I am. I've like somebody on my team, Serena's on my team, and like she does things that I can't do. I'm like, this needs to happen. And she's like, okay, so she'll whip out zip ties and like
gum wrappers and Elmer's glue and suddenly have a showpiece.
Oh my God, it's hilarious. Yeah. She just went on vacation. I have to say this. And because our joke is like, because like zip ties, we all have zip ties. She can fix anything with zip ties. She really can. I'm talking anything. Like production, decor, anything with zip ties.
And Windex. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Windex. I just saw that movie. She was down in Mexico and her car broke down. Oh, no. And like this huge old trauma thing that's filled up, and she's like, you're gonna laugh. It was like they actually fixed the piece of my engine with duct tape and zip tape. And I was like, I'm sure you had the zip tie. She's like, I did. Like they fixed it. It was hilarious.
Awesome.
But yeah, you have to surround yourself with the right people.
You do. You absolutely do.
In different areas of just it just makes sense. So you can focus on internally what you need to focus on and stuff like that. This is my favorite question because I always love like what inspires people. And so what other areas of life inspire, affect, or coexist with like the nonprofit events that you're involved with?
Well, for me, I mean, everything coexists in the nonprofit, industry. It becomes a part of your life. MDA has become an extension of me. The committee that I get to work with on this event, they become an extension of the organization. And so it all comes full circle. We're all working together for a common goal, and that's to raise as many funds as we can. And like I said, surrounding yourself with those right people, it becomes a part of your life. It's all about networking and, meeting the right people and connecting people. And for me, that's full circle. It's in everything I do.
It's full circle.
It really is.
How do you, because there's so many different things that MDA, even locally does. It's Passport to a Cure is great. You guys have the walk. Correct.
We have not had the walk.
Oh.
We did not do it this year.
Okay.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
But you do a bunch of there's the give back with Dutch Brothers and the coffee.
Right. Absolutely. We have the golf tournament.
And the boot.
Yeah. We do fill the boot with the firefighters.
So all those sexy firefighters that are standing outside the grocery stores, do not walk by them.
Drop that dollar.
We're PG-13, Sarah. Come on now.
We made the hose
me.
joke,
right? Firefighters and $1.
Firefighters and $1. They go
you
together very well. No, I mean, the firefighters are actually the International Association of Firefighters. They are our number one charity partner and have been for a long time. They raise a lot of money throughout the country, locally.
They're amazing.
Good, caring people. I was just at
Yeah.
the Wine Country to the Rescue fundraiser for Sonoma County Fire Departments in California. And they're just eager to be, they save people's lives all the time, but they're eager to participate in their communities. And events.
Are we honoring someone?
We are.
Are we allowed to say it? No.
Oh, you just spilled the tea.
Well, no, wait. Okay, but we're honoring someone, but you can't really say that, so don't talk about it.
We are. We're going to honor someone. We won't name that person yet,
Correct, okay.
but we are going to be honoring someone from that industry. Yeah,
Which is
because
incredible.
they are. Yeah,
and I love it because growing up, my uncle was a fire captain in the Phoenix Fire Department.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
Very cool.
it's I've always had a big.
And my
Personal to
drinking buddy was the fire man, and he knows your uncle.
Yes, that was so crazy.
My drinking
Small
buddy.
world.
Again, full circle.
World.
Hi, Rick. That's for you, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
So, if you could share with the world something about special events, especially nonprofit fundraising, what would be a little tidbit you'd like to share?
Something
with
that
the
you
world?
think that they need to know about it.
About nonprofit fundraising?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think what's most important is to remember that there's so many causes out there, and there's so many amazing causes out there, and you got to find your passion. But they all need our support. And so once you kind of find, your passion and, where you want to sink your teeth into, it's going to be so amazing for you in that journey of connecting with a nonprofit, with a community organization. And it's critical. You never know who's going to be affected by what, or, how an organization that you I've had several people that have sat on the committee and then were personally affected by, muscular dystrophy, and so you just never know where life is going to take you. But all these nonprofits, we need your help. We can't do it without the community around us.
That's true. And, you do feel good when you give.
You do.
You just do.
And we're a really fun group. So
Actually, I can vouch for that.
Well, and that goes back to that balance, which we'll talk about actually in another question, or we can just jump right on into it because we love that. Is that's the big balance of trying to make the events fun,
right?
Versus you have to have a serious moment because it's a serious, it's something that you need to focus on. We need to talk about what this does to people and children, and this is how it affects them, and this is how you can help. So you have that moment, but it's you can find the right balance, and I've seen that actually as far as that's great. Then you come in and you kind of talk about all the good that's happened. You have that serious moment, and then you kind of end the event with celebrating. Thank you. This is you've done something.
That's an awesome recipe.
You've done something very, very good, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
So have a good time. And we want to say thank you kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's a good thing.
And with a nonprofit event, I think it's important to remember the reason we're there is to raise funds.
Yeah.
And so while attending,
I think so. And I guess and we're not going to name names, but you attend a bunch of different nonprofit events, and I think sometimes you can tell when the event itself, and this isn't a negative thing, it's just because you get into it, you can tell that the event itself has grown so much into an event that it kind of loses,
Isn't your guest list like super critical in something like this?
It is.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's always like the question of like, we want people who want to support it, but you have to have people who can financially support it.
Right.
Because otherwise it's like your next question, which is like, what's the hardest thing to balance for a nonprofit event? It's expenses.
It is.
You need to throw this event, but if you can't turn around and do that.
Right.
And I've seen some events like raise like millions of dollars, and that's wonderful. But I don't know if sometimes like the message got across. I think people were there because they wanted to, we're going to spend the money and we're going to show that we can spend the money, and that's wonderful. Right. But like you have to have like that message as well.
Absolutely.
On there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Telling your story during, you've got a captive audience of,
Yes.
and you want them to have fun. So we celebrate, have fun, but then you've got to tell your story. What's the mission? Why is everybody gathering today? Going back to what is an event? Why are we here? Why are we gathering? And the reason is for the mission, to support the mission.
Right.
And so if people kind of understand that going in, or even if they don't, it's our job to inspire them while they're there. Usually, we like to have someone close to our mission, someone who is personally affected, maybe by a family member or them personally, by one of our diseases, attend and talk and tell their story and talk about their journey. Because again, it comes back to that education. And
Absolutely.
with education comes inspiration.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's that balance again.
Yeah.
Is like some people like they love having celebrities come in and talk because it kind of gives that like that wow factor, which is great. But I think it's also just as powerful to have somebody who's been affected personally.
Absolutely.
Here is my story.
It's a powerful message.
It is.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's again like it's another thing for you to balance on how to do all that. So and that's why I think again I love the world of events, because you get to do an amazing event, but you get to do some really good work. You get to give good work and you get to give back, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
So that's why there are some smaller nonprofits that I work with that I know that some other people in the industry have like decided like, because they just don't have like the budget for it. Like we can't pay you to do what you need to do. And I'm like, I just took one on for this year, that's the next year, that like
you in essence donate.
This is the budget. And I'm like, that's fine. Yeah. And she's like, well, do we need to limit what you're going to do? And I'm like, no. I said, you're going to grow on my side. Like I can't help you with like your guest list and stuff like that. I said, but on my side, I can help you grow more because I believe in like what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's just like an amazing thing. It's the same thing with MDA. Like it was like, at the beginning.
Yeah, that's exactly how you got involved with us.
Exactly.
We didn't have a budget for you. We didn't.
And it was great because the very first year was like holiday theme.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have nothing but holiday decor.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can do this.
Yeah.
He's
like,
always been easy that way.
Yeah. Wow.
Again, PG-13 today.
It is a very worthwhile cause, and if I may interject, just a brief meeting you for the first time at the meeting that we had over the
committee meeting.
Yeah, and thank you for allowing me to become a part of this, because it really does mean a lot to me to participate.
We're so happy to have you.
Thank you.
Yes.
You say that now.
Check back in 6 months.
What are we talking about?
Like, shh. David, we need to shrink. Squirrel. Oh, yeah.
Squirrel. I didn't know we actually had that sound effect.
That's him pulling a dollar bill out of his wallet.
See, we do
You
have
were
fun.
saying.
Anyway, this is. I'm honored to be part of this now, and the work is very worthwhile. The fact that you donate to your time is worth a lot of money, and the fact that you feel inspired to do that. I just feel honored to be in the presence of two very fine
good people do good
you.
things, and that's so many times
absolutely.
you're on the committee and stuff like that, and it was a balance. We talk about balancing, but for me it was like a balance, because I get hired to do things for different nonprofits, and then you do it in different capacities and for different reasons and stuff. But again, like you said, it's become more of like a family and friends, and you care so much about that it's a little bit more. So now, like actually officially being on the committee, I can do a little bit more than just like what I do for that night. I'm like, what can I help out? And, finding good people who want to do good things
Right.
is a big part of it. So
Yeah.
thank you for joining us, Randy.
Yeah.
It's always a good thing.
I'm excited.
So we're going to go into our last question is, are you seeing changes / trends happening in the nonprofit fundraising world?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yes, there's been so many changes, I think, since the pandemic.
The organization itself has gone
my
through huge
gosh.
changes because before, like when we first started, like you were like, it was like a local,
Right.
But you're like a national vice president. She's super important. Just FYI.
I'm being
Don't let
nice
titles
next
fool
to us,
you.
right? This is as nice as it gets on my end.
Right? But like the changes, go ahead. Like it's
Yeah,
been,
I mean,
it's incredible.
yeah, absolutely. That's a good point, David. Like even from an organizational perspective, we've gone through huge changes. Like you said, we used to have local offices all over the country. There was brick and mortar with a local office. And guess what? That was really expensive. Real estate's expensive. And so the pandemic kind of sped up our decision to go fully remote. And it's been tremendous. And so we eliminated all of our real estate across the country. And guess what? We were able to take that money and invest it into our mission.
Research and-
Exactly.
oh, that's amazing.
Exactly. And so there were definitely growing pains. How do we function as an organization and put on events when we are now scattered across the country, right? What does that look like?
Well, you have to combine cities then. Like now it's like
Absolutely.
a regional kind of thing
Fancy.
instead of like a
Yeah,
city piece.
yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. But we still have to have those local ties in the community because that's what it's all about, right? And so, a lot of strategy, a lot of thinking, a lot of trial and error has kind of gone into forming this new fully remote organization. But what it's allowed is for us internally to collaborate more and externally. I just attended an amazing event in Philly.
That's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
where we raised, close to $500,000
Awesome.
through a cocktail event. And for me to be able to engage in that event and pull, thoughts and ideas and bring them back to the event here in Arizona, that's great.
Maybe met a person or two. That could
Yeah,
help.
I know, right?
Maybe met a few people.
Right? A couple influencers as
Right.
well, perhaps. Yeah, absolutely.
All
So-
you bougies, we're talking to you.
Right? Oh my goodness. And so, yes, just from an organizational standpoint, lots of changes. And then from the event standpoint as well, we have really kind of gotten back to basics in some of the things that we do. It's great to have 800 people in the room, but it's even better to have 400 people in the room when you can raise just as much money.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's more intimate. You can tell your story and
Yeah.
mingle and,
And that just shows experience from you.
Yeah.
Because like right off the bat, I always feel like more people. And I'm like, you can do the same thing with like smaller group of people.
Absolutely.
You just have to like figure out like that balance.
It's the
Today's
balance.
Spot.
Today's
That's
word
spot.
is
Sure.
balance. Yes, absolutely.
brought to you by Mercury Wines.
Right, because Randy's not balanced.
No. That's unbalanced. That's as unbalanced as you can get for sure. But you've been just a doll. Thank you so much for
Oh my
coming on and
gosh,
talking
it's
about the
been
message.
Amazing to join you.
Let's
guys.
talk
Yeah.
about the event itself. So tell
Yeah.
us. So Passport to a Cure is December
8th.
8th
Yeah.
at the Westin Kierland.
Westin Kierland.
We're super excited.
It's-
New venue for us.
New venue.
Yes, new
Nice.
venue.
It's a beautiful place.
And we needed a new venue because we outgrew our last.
Which is such I love just the growth.
The growth.
We sat in that meeting like,
Absolutely.
do we think we can do this number? And we're like, we can do this number.
Yeah.
And we can do it because now we can have like the amount of people.
Absolutely.
Which is great. And our theme this year is Vintage Vegas.
I'm so
Nice.
excited.
Did you see the design board? Did they send it to you?
I haven't seen it yet.
What?
I know. Well, I just got back
Jean,
from
Ann, and
2
Dana,
weeks.
shame on you.
I know, right?
I was like, wait a minute.
Should have been top of my email box. I did hear there's
They're excited
teal.
about it. There is
I heard
teal.
Teal, yes.
Well, because we did red and black for New York.
know, no more red and black, yeah.
So like
So
I've got
teal
some
and
items that
silver.
I have personally, like this black sequin linen, which is great. And the teal, if you pull
He's
up
probably
Vintage
gonna be
Vegas
wearing
items,
it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. I'm very excited about the theme, about the venue and stuff like that. So it's going to be amazing.
Oh,
and we're
yeah.
working on entertainment and everything else like that. So Are tickets available already?
Oh yeah, tickets are available. Sponsorships are still available, and so
And you can just plain donate as well. You can always just
Absolutely.
plain donate. So
Absolutely.
we'll have all that information when we put the podcast out. We want to thank Sarah again for being here because
Thank you,
I just
Sarah.
love all the work that you do
Oh,
and
thank you guys.
the good
Yeah.
energy, and it's fun, and getting the message for MDA out is important. And you guys always have great people. So if I don't. I think I'd get in trouble if I didn't mention that you have somebody that I know who's now on a big part of your national piece. No?
No,
No.
not anymore.
Okay, well then
Yeah.
never mind on that. So we love.
Wait,
for
why
being
can't I
on here.
put the cricket sound?
Oh, yeah. That was like, okay, never mind. Whatever it is. So
It was like the gentle nod. Of the head.
so communication, Sarah, that's important.
That's the awkward cricket sound.
The awkward crickets. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but again, like if you want to get in touch with Sarah and anything to do with MDA, her information will be on the podcast.
Yes,
Thank you, Randy,
please reach
for
out.
always being. Yes, please do.
Yeah.
It'll be on there.
Yeah.
And also we do like the filming, which we don't really like look at the camera. Everybody wave.
Hello.
So on the film,
wait
you
for
were
the day for-
noticing him cueing me. You have question 3. You have question.
They'll see all that. The behind
Like I
the
said, it's
scenes.
very
Behind
loose.
the scenes.
Very loose.
The real part, right? Yeah. Yeah.
And thank you, Mercury Wines, for sponsoring
Yes,
the
thank you,
Oh,
Brad.
yes.
Brad
We love
Beard with
to-
Mercury Wine.
Yes, we love the sparkling wine. And you can find us on all of your podcasts. And every Tuesday we drop a new episode. And thanks, everybody, for joining and tuning in to Twigger Time. And we will see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.